to Coffee with Kelly. I'm your host, Kelly Kiefer. Thank you, you're such a beautiful audience. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're live in Nepal this morning, and here to help me with our lead story are two political leaders from Nepal, Sarah Saloni and Kaylee Maxwell. Let's give them a round of applause. Hello, ladies. Thank you for coming onto the show.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
So today, I want to focus on government. I have a couple of questions to ask you about the Nepali government.
Okay, go ahead.
Our legislative branch in the United States focuses on two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate. How is your legislative branch divided, if it is at all?
Our government is actually bicameral too, and except we have parliament instead. And one of the houses is called the same exact thing as yours, the House of Representatives, and the other one's called the National Assembly. So.
That's very interesting. Now explain how a bill would get passed in the system.
Well, a bill can get introduced in any house, except for finance bills. Those can only be introduced in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, with what she said, many questions arise about if a bill is a finance bill or not. But basically, a finance bill is anything that has to do with taxes, government funds, loans, revenues for the government, and anything else that's even semi like that.
All right. Well, now it's time for Fun Random Facts. Enlighten us.
Did you know that there's yaks in Nepal?
Lots
Really?
of
Yaks?
Yep, I have a pet yak. Well, I did. It got killed by an Indian flying fox.
I'm deeply sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'm getting over it.
Well, is it true that part of Mount Everest is the highest part of Nepal?
Yeah, that's actually where I found my yak, thanks.
I'm sorry to remind you of that.
It's okay.
Also, Nepal is the only official Hindu state in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Well, that concludes Fun Random Facts. So, say it wasn't a finance bill. How does it get passed?
It starts in one house and then it's transferred to the other as fast as it can. Once it gets passed there, it is then introduced to His Majesty, which is the President of Nepal.
I see. That's similar how it is in the United States. Except bills start out in one house and is approved by the majority of the other house, and then goes to the president where he can make provisions or veto it. Either way, the bill still goes back to the houses, where they can override it or perfect the provisions. Now let's move on to actual voting in the houses. Tell me about that.
Well, all questions and decisions in either House of Parliament is to be decided by the majority vote, which is 2/3 of the members present and voting. The member leading the meeting is not allowed to vote unless there's a tie.
The houses must have a majority of 2/3 in the United States also. In the U.S., taxes may be levied, but only in accordance with the law. How does it work in Nepal?
Well, no taxes may be levied and collected unless the law authorizes it to do so. The law on taxes makes it uniform, which means the same everywhere. Basically, a house can't just decide to tax on a certain area because they feel like it. Unless there's a law that's made. But let's not get into that.
Yeah, not today.
Sounds pretty simple. Now back to the topic of bills. Let's say you don't like a bill that has been passed.
Okay.
What happens?
Well, a bill can be withdrawn if the member that introduced it wants to. But, of course, all of this is done with the approval of the House of Representatives.
Oh, well, that's different. Before a bill is passed in the United States, things can be done in an attempt to prevent it from passing by halting action. This is called a filibuster, which extends debate upon a proposal in order to delay the process or completely prevent a vote on it from taking place. After a bill is passed, only new bills can replace it or change its proposals.
I don't really care.
Well, that concludes our time for today. Thank you for joining us on Coffee with Kelly. Sponsored by Maxwell's House of Coffee. Good to the last drop.